Emmanuel Acho, not a friend of the show. Not at all. Joy Taylor's boyfriend, nuts. But Emmanuel Acho, not a friend of the show at all, decided to say something very idiotic and simplistic. One of my favorite quotes from an NBA player comes from Jalen Rose, and he said something along the lines that positions were created for a novice to follow with. And I wholeheartedly agree. I think there's a lot of things that we have established in the NBA community over the last 30 to 40 years to make it very easy and simple for a novice to carry some type of knowledge and information throughout a conversation, despite the fact that they're not that knowledgeable about it. And that's exactly what we're going to see here. There's just no way that I'm going to watch somebody create a formula for someone's legacy and greatness when there's irrefutable context that may be missing. But that's what we're going to see from this novice here in Emmanuel Acho.
Kevin Durant. Rick, you've covered basketball for a long time, and at the end of the day, it all comes down to this, viewers at home, a legacy conversation. Kevin Durant joining another team. I believe this might be his fifth or sixth, fifth team he's played for. Rick, is he hurting his legacy by joining another team?
No. We're in a place now with player empowerment where guys are choosing to move. The whole idea of spending your entire career with one team, that used to be a mark of excellence. It used to be something that guys aspire to. That's no longer the case. And it would be one thing if it was a matter of, you know what, teams are trying to get off of Kevin Durant. And that really hasn't been the case. It's been more Kevin Durant is dissatisfied with where he is. And
so, piece of context, and I'm not going to stop this that much because it's a bunch of nothingness. This idea that players strive for this idea of staying on one team. Yeah, if your team was winning, you would strive to stay on one team. But that's not the case. See, back then, players were on slave contracts. They would be under contract for 10 plus years. That's not something that they strived for. Quite frankly, everyone that wasn't winning always wanted out, but they couldn't get out because back then free agency didn't exist. Owners were colluding underneath the table, flipping contracts and draft picks without actual guidance and direction of trying to build an actual functional championship team. That's what was going on all throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, and a little bit of the 90s. We didn't start getting a salary cap until the mid-'80s, and free agency didn't really exist until a decade later in the mid-'90s. So utilizing what those players' careers looked like back in the day in contrast to what we have right now is idiotic. And the reason for this is because the reason why we're here today where players are only on 4-year deals instead of 7 and 10-year deals like they used to be back in the day is because players back then didn't want to be on those contracts. They didn't want to have to be tied down for 7 to 10 years on one team that wasn't building anything. So this idea that players back in the day, they strived for it. If they were winning, sure, but not if you weren't winning. Magic strived for that. Bird strived for it. Michael strived for it. Barkley did it. Hakeem did it. Drexler did it. Even a nigga that was winning championships and Scottie Pippen, he didn't. He wanted to leave. And that's the problem. Too many of these people are ill-informed on a lot of these nuances and yet trying to have these conversations. They're ignorant. They're dumb. And yet that's not even the dumbest thing that's about to be said in this video. This shit right here made me this is the shit that made me lose my mind.
if anything has hurt his legacy, it's the decisions that he's made on where to go. You leave Oklahoma City, okay, and you go to the Warriors. That's validated by winning 2 championships. But now you go to the Brooklyn Nets to join Kyrie Irving. That wasn't about championships. I don't know exactly what that was about, right? And then the Nets thing falls apart, and you make Phoenix the destination you want to go to, and that doesn't work out. So for as great as Kevin Durant,
a lot of people saying what, and y'all, I'm here with y'all. Like, I don't know what the this nigga's talking about. Like, what the we've somehow gotten to this point where now he went to Brooklyn and it wasn't about winning a championship. But in real time, Rick Bucher is one of the same niggas who was claiming that KD was forcing the organization to get James Harden. For what? Why would he want James Harden? Would it be to not win a championship? So it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. You can't tell me I'm going somewhere else and you don't know what it's for, but in real time, you sat there and claiming that I was making all these demands in the front office to try to build a super team so we can win a championship. But now all of a sudden, you don't know what it's for. The fuck is you talking about?
Has been as an individual player. I think what hurts his legacy the most is you have to ask the question, how important is winning championships to him based on the decisions that he's made on where he's gone? At least with the Houston Rockets, you can look at it and go, you know what? This makes sense. This gets him closer to winning a championship. But it's some of the previous decisions that he's made that hurts him.
Yeah.
To question a man of his motives of trying to win a championship when this is the same man that played with a calf strain that we knew could lead to a torn Achilles en route to winning a championship, or at least in the attempt to question that man's motive is fucking stupid. That is the dumbest shit. The nigga who put his body on the line with potentially a career-ending injury in the attempt to win a championship, if that is not clear enough for you, I don't know what is. The same nigga that went out there after Harden then Kyrie went down and went blow for blow, or I guess toe for toe, against the Milwaukee Bucks to sit there and say, I don't know what his motives are. Do you hear how fucking stupid you sound? You sound fucking idiotic. The nigga damn near jeopardized his entire career to play basketball in the NBA Finals. And you're questioning what his motives are? This is where, again, I say, damn if you do, damn if you don't. If I play through my injuries, niggas always question my play. They question my motives. If I don't, well, nigga, back in my day, we used to play through everything. But even when I do, you still question my motives. See how fucking stupid that sounds?
This doesn't affect his legacy at all. I mean, even though we're in a different NBA, but even back then, a lot of guys moved on different teams. Charles Barkley, I can name a couple guys. Allen Iverson, all them dudes with the different teams. But now the difference is they create their own narrative. As far as, I don't want to play for this franchise, I don't have to. Back in the day where, even in football and in basketball, where the ownership had all the power, and you got to play for them. And if you don't play for them, they frown upon it. No. I want to go where I can win a championship at. I don't want to go where I can still be a good player. I want to go to a team that has good players around me. I want to go and play for a good coach. Everything that Kevin Durant wants to do, they have it in Houston. And I look at all the guys that LeBron, he's on his fourth team. Shaquille O'Neal, he played on 6 different teams.
Well, look at LeBron.
Oh, so there's someone who actually brought up Shaq and they still didn't? Nigga, the fact that someone actually brought up Shaq, there's no way now you still thought that this take was a good one, Emmanuel Acho. Holy fuck. And for the people out there who were telling me about Shady, I know who that is. Come on, dog. Eagles, Bills, Tampa Bay. I know who he is. Come on now.
LeBron James is still one of the GOATs. You look at Shaq, still the most dominant. What's the difference between Kevin Garnett or Kevin Durant? He's still a really good.
He was a running back. Oh my God, you're on penis. Dan Sieg's on penis.
Good player. So I hear what you're saying. I heard the question, but when you that good like Kevin Durant, you that special, you can't change his legacy. Only thing he can do is help it. He goes to the Houston, they win a championship. We're gonna be parading about Kevin Durant. I know I am. I know all the elites, all the greats are gonna cheer about it. When you add championships, we had this whole conversation a couple days ago about LeBron James talking about the championship culture. Well, this is part of it.
Because I'm
sorry, Shady. I need to hear.
Situation. But real quick though, so I got just to ask Kyrie Irving about that. And Kyrie said when him and Kevin Durant plan to play together, because they like the way they play each other, etc. He said, yo, if you look at our team was really, really good.
Brian Dawkins also played for the Eagles, safety. Holy fuck.
We had bigs, we had bench. He said why we got messed up was they seen James Harden and they wanted to work that thing out. When James came to the Nets, they had to give up some pieces. They got to give up some bench players. They give up some big men. That's how that whole thing unfolded like that. But this them two, Kevin Durant and Kyrie, initially they wanted to work together and they had a good team. So I just hate when people like try to hate on Kevin Durant
No, I'm not saying you hate, not right now. Of course. But like a couple minutes you're going to hate, but not right now. I'm just saying when people do hate on Kevin Durant about the teams, I'm like, bro, if I had a chance and the power, because everybody can't do this, to play with players that I want to play with or play with the people that I like, everybody would do it. Now, it's time for you to hate.
Yeah.
Now, that is true. If you had the ability to play with players that you want to play with, of course you would do it. It's similar to, like, if, for example, Chad, if you wanted to work with somebody that you wanted to work for or work with, you would always choose the person that you would want to work with. That's why Emmanuel Acho was working with Joy. Duh. They had the power to work with one another. Emmanuel Acho should know that for a fact. So the same way that you decided to pick and link up with Joy Taylor, and that didn't work out. Same way Kevin Durant can pick whatever who the f*** want to play with, and it may not work out either. However, I would argue his failures are nowhere near close to yours, brother. Yeah.
James has suggested when I do this.
Here it comes.
You about to what? You about to what? You about to
Hey, for real. I cannot disagree with you all more. I'm going to say a couple things, and this isn't just going to apply to basketball. This is going to apply to life. Hit dogs holler, so hopefully you don't holler. The more you travel, the more you water down your legacy. But I also want to suggest this. Don't ever let the current culture dilute or change the truth. I remember a famous actress got divorced one time. I'll let y'all try to figure out who it is. And after getting divorced, she said, well, you know what? I think marriage is something you graduate from. I said, wait, what? Marriage is something you graduate from? So now you want to change the intention of marriage because you want to make yourself feel better about the fact that you're getting divorced. Since when is marriage something you graduate from? Just because the current culture suggested players move around ain't mean that's what it's supposed to be. Because Jokic ain't moving around. Giannis ain't moving around. Steph ain't moving around. And outside of a forgettable year, not by Shai's own mention, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ain't moving around. Now to Shady's point, and Shady made a beautiful one. How?
Again, the ignorance that is spewing from this man's lips. It, without a doubt, is supposed to be a part of the culture if the players before them made sure it was implemented with their contracts. The players before them fought for the ability for their contracts to no longer be 7 years long. So that's factually incorrect. That's just factually incorrect.
How can you fault KD for going to go get something, a championship? I'm not faulting him for going to go get it. I'm faulting him because he can't bring it to him. That's why he's going to go get it. You're only going to go get it because it won't come to you. Shai brought a championship to
that. I swear to God, chat. I'm not even trolling. I'm not even trolling. Dead ass serious. Doesn't that not sound like his career? Does that not sound like Emmanuel Acho's career? I'm not even joking right now. Does that not sound like Emmanuel Acho's career? That it couldn't come to you, so you had to follow it, not only in the pros playing football, as you bounced around from the Giants, the Browns, to the Eagles, back to the Eagles again, but also in your own media career as well. Nigga, this is like your third show. This is like your third show on this network alone. On this network alone, it's like your third show. None of them. And you're nowhere near close to niggas who came in and established themselves. You see how Nick Wright came in, established himself, and became a bigger talking head, not only on that show, but in the space? You understand how there have been so many people who have come and gone in your position and still been more successful, such as another NFL player, Shannon Sharp, how people keep coming to him? This sounds like your career, my nigga. This is your career. This nigga is projecting. Holy
to him. Giannis brought a championship to him. Jokic brought a championship to him. But because KD can't bring a championship to him, that's why he got to go get it. He got to go get it in Brooklyn, try to go get it in Phoenix. Now he's going to go get it in Houston. But if you could bring it to, if you could bring it to you wouldn't have to go get it. So I'm faulting KD, and I'm simply suggesting, not even faulting him, I'm suggesting his legacy is watered down because I have a very simple legacy formula. It's very simple. I was not great at math. You don't have to be for it. It's simple. Championships divided by teams you played for is how great your legacy. The higher the number on the far right column, the greater your legacy is. As you can see, Kobe Bryant, 5 chips, 1 team. Tim Duncan, 5 chips, 1 team. Steph Curry, 4 chips, 1 team. LeBron James, 4 chips, 3 teams. Obviously, notably left off there is Michael Jordan, but y'all get it. Y'all can do the math. The number of championships you win by the teams you play for, to me, is your legacy. legacy. Dirk Nowitzki, 1 championship, 1 team, but now KD, 2 championships, but he's been on 5 teams at this junction in time. Your legacy is dependent upon how many championships you win and how many teams that you have to play for to do it. That's my simple legacy equation.
Now, I said this on Twitter, I'm going to say it again. This is the best example of you trying to get a takeoff without fact-checking or proofreading the take with facts before you jump off the bridge to see if it made sense. Shaquille O'Neal alone would immediately allow all this to crumble. But instead of you actually doing your due diligence to see if it actually makes sense, you're too caught up and consumed with the take right now. I say this as someone who has to do this for myself all the time. There are several videos that I don't put out because I had to stop and ask myself, does my opinion track across the board? And if it doesn't, then it's flawed logic. There's no way you're going to now tell me that Shaq has a worse legacy than Dirk Nowitzki. There's no way you're telling me that. There's none. There's absolutely no way you would ever in your life utter those words. No way. There is no way that you would ever in your life try to even utter out of your lips. And before I even get into this bag, because to be fair to what he is saying, because he responded to on Twitter, he's not talking about supporting cast members. So I'm not going to use a Draymond Green argument. We're talking about players who are the best player on a championship team. Moses Malone legacy would be in a gutter. In the gutter. Houston, Atlanta, Philly, only 1 ring. It will be in the gutter. Then will be the point of players who have 0 rings but played for multiple teams. The Chris Pauls, the Charles Barkleys. Is there? How do you adjust for 0 chips? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't.
And I ain't got to get into all the gyrations and all the motions and all the debates. How many chips did you win? And how many teams did you have to play for to do it? That is your legacy.
That is the greatest, nerdiest take that you have ever had. That was outstanding.
And I don't know if anyone's going to actually push back on what he's saying. If they don't, the fact that there are that many yes men who are not willing to push back on how idiotic this take is ridiculous.
And to your point, I believe the thing that hurts his legacy the most, because let's not confuse legacy with resume. His resume, because of his individual stats and all of that, you can't touch that. If you just read all of his accomplishments, you can't touch that. But legacy is more about how we think of you, how we remember you. And that's where, not so much moving around, but what has resulted from him moving around. And I would say the thing that hurts him the most with his legacy is, to your point, is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander winning a championship in Oklahoma City. Because when he left, the feeling was, you know what, they got close, but the sense was he's never going to win a championship in Oklahoma City. And he's a championship-level player. So we gave him that, right? And now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the difference in their staying there, if you throw out the Seattle year, and you throw out the year that KD only played like 27 games, wasn't in the playoffs, he was there essentially 7 years. Shai was there 6 years, has been there 6 years. Well, Shai worked through the hard time and brought a ring to Oklahoma City. And for the same reason that we now say that Shai will be regarded as the greatest Thunder player ever, is because he was willing to stick it out and make it happen and bring that championship to Oklahoma City. I think that's the greatest point that you've made, that it puts KD in a little bit of a different light, is that...
Holy how the do niggas watch this shit? Oh my word. How do people, I don't even know how people, Jesus Christ. One nigga matched up in the finals against Tyrese Halliburton. The other nigga matched up with LeBron. What the are we, what the are we talking about right now? Do y'all hear yourselves? You hear how fucking stupid that, and then also, Hallie tore his Achilles, and it took game 7 for them to get the actual result of the game. Like, think about how fucking crazy that is. Halliburton and Siakam pushed them to 7 games. 7. While KD is on a team with a young Russ, young Harden, young Ibaka, trying to beat LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh. Oh my word. Oh my goodness. Ah, bro. And I feel like these type of conversations just so lowbrow. It's really, really ridiculous.
He did have to go chase it. It's the same with LeBron James. He had to go chase it. What pulled it back a little bit is he went back to Cleveland and got them one.
And got him one.
Still not quite exactly the same. But when I look at to your like Steph Curry and Golden State,
He went through the hard stuff.
So LeBron,
he went
is
through the
LeBron
hard
staying
times
cool?
in between the championships, before the championship, and then to amass all of them, he went through some really hard times.
Hey, you said, I don't want to stop it, but you said something about LeBron. I want you to finish that. Is he cool?
I think his legacy is hurt somewhat in that he had to go chase it. He had to go to Miami to learn how to win championships, and then brought one back to Cleveland, utilized all their resources. Okay, I'm done. Now let me move on again. I think there's something about guys who are willing to stick it out and
Bring it there.
Well, that's.
But
I'm going to trust my team to put the necessary pieces.
But all teams, that's the point that you're missing. All teams are not the Golden State Warriors. They're not the Miami Heat. You cannot think about what you're saying. I'm going to place my legacy in the hands of an incompetent owner or general manager who has proven time and time out again that it's going to fail to put the adequate pieces around me. Why would I do that? I've already given them 7 years to see if they can or cannot do that. Why would I wait any longer? Why? I've given you 7 years. And you end up looking like Kevin Garnett or Dame, who spend way too long in their careers playing for organizations that cannot put it together. Why would you want to do that? And again, I want to be very clear. There's not a single individual up there that would ever go work for a media company that was failing what they perceive to be their legacy. Not a single one. Not one. Not one.
You say that, but it's a lot of All-Stars that haven't done that, right? Like, I don't know if LeBron James' legacy gets affected because he went to different teams.
Oh, there's no
Miami.
question.
We killed him 2-5.
No question.
He was in the league at the time, but like people killed him.
LeBron James, what about right now today? Do they talk about, nobody talks about it. The whole team switching, I would say LeBron kind of started that, but look at LeBron James. What can you say about him? He's a champion. He's probably the best player we've ever seen in basketball, other than MJ. Right?
I'm not.
There's a smaller, but like the D Wades, he went to multiple teams. The Paul Pierces, the Kevin Garnett. I can name team players.
Now, but Kobe Bryant, who went through hard times.
But how many of them is it? But okay, so how many guys? You got Tim Duncan. Just as many superstars you have like that, like Shaq.
Yeah, but he already.
Nobody here can fix their lips, say anything wrong about Shaq. He been on multiple teams.
Please, I am begging. Okay. Do the math. Let's do the math first. You're right. Let's do the math for Shaq. Let's do the Emmanuel Otto math. Let's do that first for Shaq before we get to that point. And I haven't seen this video. They're probably just going to deflect. So Shaq has won 4 championships, as we know, 3 with the Lakers and then 1 with Miami. However, in the process of doing so, he played for Orlando, played for LA, he played for Miami, he played for Phoenix, he played for Cleveland, and he played for Boston. He played for 6 teams. 6. And for those who want to sit here and say, well, Boston doesn't really count. No, it does, because he himself said that he went on Boston to try to get his 5th ring so he can have the same as Kobe. It does. So let's do the math. Let's do the math here. If we have 4 divided by 6 is 0.67, not even 1. Not even one. So I wonder if they're actually going to address the Shaq point. I highly doubt it.
But it's not, but it's a different conversation. Because to me, there's a conversation about how great an individual is, which Shady, I think, is talking about, and then like how potent your legacy is. Because LeBron, the good thing for LeBron is, at minimum, he's won a chip on every team he's played on. Every team. So whether it was the Lakers, got a chip. Heat, got a chip. Cavs, got a chip. So if I show up, I bring the chip to me.
Right.
KD hasn't got a chip on every team he's played on. Now, there's nuance. Like Shady said, there's a lot of nuance. Dwayne Wade, he won all his chips in Miami, and then towards the end of his career, he goes to play with LeBron in Cleveland. Then I think he goes to Chicago, his whole town.
That's part of it, though.
You know, there's some nuance there. So Shady brings up a good point of nuance.
Yeah, but he went to go play for those teams to win. So he was actively still seeking a way to win. So you acknowledging the nuance is why this shit is so stupid. It's stupid. It's the dumbest shit in the world. Because as you are acknowledging, you wouldn't dare say that D Wade's legacy takes a fucking hit because he was running around trying to get money and still competing with the Chicago Bulls and Cavs. You wouldn't say that because that's fucking stupid.
Michael Jordan goes to the Wizards.
Go
You could add that.
to Shaq. I want to hear y'all talk about Shaq.
I think the hard part for me is
Shaq did start to ring chase towards the tail end of his career, but I think that's the same nuance of Shaq won 3 with the Lakers, started with the Magic, won 3 with the Lakers, but Shaq and Kobe's legacy ain't the same to me. Like, when I think of Kobe, it is the Lakers. Boom.
That's cool.
Boom.
Okay, that's okay.
When I think of
Shaq,
dominance.
That's greatness. I'm a champion. Shaq's great.
Of course, dominance. But Shaq and Kobe's legacy, to me, especially in LA, the city we're currently doing.
I'm just talking about, we talk about the player. Eventually, what's going to happen is every player's going to be gone from this game. It's going to happen like that. When you're gone, then let's talk about your legacy, right? I don't care what teams you played on. When you gone, we're going to talk about who you was as a player. When we talk about Shaquille O'Neal,
most dominant player.
I mean, what we talking about?
Dominant.
And when you talk about Kobe, dominant, great player. They both greats.
But not only that, though, too, though, I don't think it's fair because certain people.
So he actually got fried on a point and still didn't. This is the shit that's amazing to me. And I don't know why, Emmanuel Acho, why the did you not put that part of the clip on Twitter, you loser ass nigga? Why would you not put that part of the clip? Because you got fried. You got fried. You sitting there agreeing with how stupid the take is. It's a dumb take. It is a dumb take. So let's get this clear. You presented it. A nigga immediately showed you how stupid the take is, and you still decided to go on the timeline and try to like boast your chest about your dumb fucking take that a nigga fried you on in real time? And if we're going to talk about legacy, bro, there's niggas with 0 championships who have greater legacies than niggas with multiple. Iverson has 0. Jerry West has 1, and that nigga is the logo. The f*** is you talking about? There are plenty of niggas who have greater legacies with fewer championships or on your whatever that dumbass formula is. Wilt Chamberlain. So no.
get treated different.
Elaborate.
What I mean by that is LeBron James is not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Kevin Durant is not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander could be with the OKC Thunder for 10 years and not win a championship. He will not get treated like KD, like he has to win a championship. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I think for them, you think of ring chasing because that is your true legacy because you're that great of a player.
Let me push back. That's a really good point, but let me push back. I do think there's a difference kind of to what Shady's getting at now. Shady's kind of brought it out of me. I think a good conversation is whether you choose to leave, whether you were asked to leave, or whether you were forced out are all different situations as well for me, right? SGA.
How can it be different for you and you just stumbled across this? What the f*** is you how the f*** can it be different for you and holy, bro, you're committed to the take instead of logic. How the f*** can you sit there and say how you left is what's really important to me when it just got brought to your attention? You're just making shit up as you go, but it still applies to Shaq. Still applies to Shaq. Shaq wanted to leave Orlando. Shaq wanted to leave Miami. Shaq chose to go to Boston to attempt to win a championship. And if we're talking about how you leave dictates your legacy, Shaq did most of those things in the pursuit of money, not championships. So while you got Rick Bucher with his lips on KD's penis, sitting there talking about what someone's motives are, well then say something about Shaq's motives. This is the reason why the Shaq propaganda is always at an all-time high. You niggas make up these new criteria for everyone else, but now you're talking about someone's motive when Shaq told you what his motives are. He told you. Not willing to financially compensate Shaq, or unable to, or seeking some sort of financial compensation was a driving force, maybe not the main, but was a driving force to wherever Shaq went to. But yet no one questions his motives. Interesting.
He was drafted to the Clippers. But SGA didn't want to go to the
he got
Thunder.
traded.
Whereas Kevin Durant, we know he wanted to leave. He wanted to leave OKC. And at the time, that's a different KD. At the time, if KD would have stuck it out, that's a different situation. LeBron wanted to leave Cleveland.
But they wanted to leave because all the pressure on them and all everybody was saying is they have to win a championship. With all due respect to Giannis, they're not saying that about Giannis and Joker. Joker and Giannis can stay at the same team, for real. They can stay at the same team for 12 years. If they don't win a championship, the pressure to win a championship wasn't the
Well, that's not true because Stephen A. Smith just called this nigga an underachiever, so.
You're right, but that's different now.
Remember, KD left in 2016. The dialogue was not the same in 16 as it is in 2025, 10 years later. I'm saying we were not saying in 2016, KD, if you don't win a championship in OKC, you a punk. We still had grace for you back then.
And that's probably true, but he's seen what they were doing to LeBron. And that's why LeBron went to a super team. So KD coming up next, in his mind, like, I got to win a championship because he was held to those standards.
Rick, chime in on this. Did he see what they were doing to LeBron, or did he see what LeBron did? I think that's the difference. I think he saw what LeBron did and said, you know what? Bron had to dip to go get his. I'm a dip to go get mine. And there's two trains of thought. Because I think Joker and Giannis have seen what Steph has done. Giannis easily could have said, I want out. Jokic, by his 7th season, could have said, you know what? I want out. I'm winning MVPs. I'm not winning chips. I want to dip. Shea could have said after last year, we a 1 seed. And I couldn't get it done as a 1 seed, and I'm an all-NBA player. Shea ain't good enough.
But you know what?
And we didn't treat him like that.
And another thing is, I think about, like, even when y'all keep talking about, like,
That's good. These are things that are just not true. Why would Giannis say he wants out by his 7th season when they won a championship, I think, in year 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, year 8. They won in year 8. They were already showing that they had the ability to win, like, the year in which they needed to, like, win, they did it. Right now, there's already conversations of Giannis potentially leaving, and he's won already. So how the do you not know where his mind was at that point? Especially when we now know that Giannis, without a doubt, has been pushing for them to make moves routinely over the course of the last 5 to 6 years of his time in Milwaukee. So you don't know. This is where, like, you're just making shit up as you go. You're just making shit up. Like, there's rumors right now that he might leave. Right now. Right now. What the fuck are we talking about?
Leaving. We let the front office and these franchises get passes, right? Even when LeBron James, him doing all they did for that squad, because they weren't even that good, the team. But he was so good, he elevated everybody. Yeah. Now I need help. Why y'all not give me no help? Kobe Bryant had to put pressure on the Lakers because he was about to leave too. Do you forget that? And I needed pressure. I gave him pressure. I need some more help. And they kind of did that. So I feel like sometimes we play with these franchises, they get passes because, well, you know, I'm the player. I'm the thing where everybody sees. If I do well, they're going to be loved. If I do bad and we don't win as a group, they're going to yell at me. They're not saying nothing about the franchise. You ever been somewhere where the GM wasn't that good? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ownership wasn't that good. But if the player is so talented, we forget about all that. No. The business side of things, I understand what the LeBrons and the KDs are going through. Like, for example, I'm with OKC, right?
Shady is probably the only one who's properly equipped to have this conversation. Emmanuel Acho, in his wildest dreams, could never imagine these type of pressures being placed on him because he wasn't that caliber of player. And again, Emmanuel Acho and his ability to transform a show to something that is relevant on any network only occurred when the nigga was fucking Joy. That's the only time it actually occurred. The only time. That's it. And now you niggas is getting the fucking remains of Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless's channel. That's who you niggas are now. Think about that for a second. They think so little of you at FS1 that instead of making you a whole new YouTube channel, they gave you Shannon's residue, nigga. That's what they gave you. They gave you the stains of Skip Bayless. That's what they gave you, my nigga. Scraps. And you coming up here thumping your chest about what I can or can't do, nigga. They didn't even trust you to build a YouTube channel to 1 million subs with a major network. Think about that, nigga. You've never even been here. Yes, that's Raquel in the back. Bro, you have never even been in that scenario to know what that pressure feels like. You don't know. You was a bench nigga in the league that bounced around 4 different teams and couldn't make a team. So what is your legacy, my nigga? 4 different rosters could barely make the team. Think about that. And now your legacy at FS1 is Joy Toy's fuck buddy and Skip Bayless's remains. Shannon Sharpe's residue. That is your think about this. By this logic, that's your legacy, my nigga. That's yours. Jesus. I ain't, on some real shit, a nigga can never talk to me using a hand-me-down channel. No way, nigga. Go start your own channel, nigga.
And we have Harden, we have Russ, we have Ibaka, we have Steven Adams, we have a squad, right? And I'm like, okay, if I'm a coach, we need to go through Kevin Durant. And there's sometimes in the game Where Russ like, I'm just as good. I'm going to take the last shot.
But real quick, sometimes you need a player or you need a coach to come and like, hey, we can't do that. So
if Kevin Durant ain't really the most vocal type player, how's that message get across?
Because,
you get what I'm saying?
I hear you, but I want to pick on one thing Shady said, right? Do you need help or do you need to help yourself?
I think sometimes both are true.
You need the front office to step in there sometimes.
But I think sometimes both are true. I don't know if y'all...
Not sometimes, all the time. This is the part that I don't understand. So you don't want niggas to make their own decisions for themselves and leave, but then it's just only sometimes when the front office has to do their job. If you want someone to stay at the team that they got drafted to for their entire career to win a championship, then it's always going to be up to the front office to make the right decisions. Always. Emmanuel Acho is all over the place because he's trying to formulate this take in real time. In real time. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. This is a terrible take.
Saw over the weekend, Tracy McGrady was like, if you would have put me instead of Kobe on them Lakers team with Shaq,
I disagree,
would have won some
I
chips
disagree
too.
with him.
And I agree with you. I agree with Shady on that note. But if you're T-Mac, you could suggest to yourself, I needed more help. Or you could say, well, you had Yao Ming. Well, you had Stevie Franchise. Like, you had enough. It was you.
You had who? He said who? Did this nigga say he had Steve Francis? No, this nigga did not sit there and say that. I know this nigga did not say that. I know this nigga did not say that. I know this nigga did not say that. For those people who do not know why it's so egregious to say that he had Steve Francis, is because Steve Francis is a nigga that they traded for Tracy McGrady. I know that nigga did not just say that. Damn. This nigga don't know who the fuck he don't know what the fuck he talking about. I think he said the franchise. Let's see. Let's go back. I could be wrong. Let's see what he said.
You could say, well, you had Yao Ming. Well, you had Stevie Franchise. Like, you had enough.
It sounds like it's Stevie the franchise, yeah.
It was you.
So
never won a round.
And you never. So what I'm suggesting is like
He said Stevie Franchise. For those who don't know, that's literally Stevie Franchise. That's literally Steve Francis' name. Yeah, that's Steve Francis' name. So I don't know. He doesn't know. Emmanuel Acho is a novice. He's a novice. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's not that you're wrong, Shady. I think sometimes both are true. I think sometimes players need more help. I think sometimes help yourself. Jokic could have said, I need more. I need more than Murray when Jokic won his first chip. Giannis sure as heck could have said, I need more than Middleton.
He did.
Shea last year could...
He did.
I'm saying, but Giannis won it with Middleton. Shea last year could have
But
said...
he didn't win it with Eric Bledsoe, so he told the niggas that he needed more. Holy fuck. Oh, man.
I need more, because Chet often injury prone. He only playing 24 minutes a game. I just think if you gut it through, that matters.
Let me say this, though, because Joker had how many MVPs before he won a chip?
2, right?
You know how bad we would have been talking about Bron and KD if they ain't win? When's the last time my man Giannis won a playoff series?
2020.
You know how bad we would be talking about KD and Bron, because we do. You know how bad we would be talking about them? They're not held to the same standard. When you're not held to the same standard, you can sit back and chill. You can. All that being said with Joe, they're not held to the same standard as Bron and KD. They're not. They're not. And that's why.
They're not American players. See, I'm talking about that American player. I told you that.
Go ahead, Slick.
What you think?
It's not championships. LeBron was being held to that standard before he won a championship. Let's go to this last video so we can wrap this shit up. Because the nigga got...
You don't have to be for it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to be able to listen to 22 minutes of this nigga rambling about some shit that I know he's not well informed about. I'll just be honest with you. I'm just not going to be able to. Sabree said, low. Issue I have, low, is expectations. Steph Curry and Shea never had expectations to win a title because they didn't blossom into a superstar until their mid-late 20s, while LeBron and KD were great immediately, hence the expectations being heightened immediately, putting more pressure on them to win. There was never pressure on Steph to win a title because he didn't have expectations to win. Similar things can be said about Giannis and Jokic because they didn't have those expectations heading into their careers.
He said, according to the great Kevin Durant's legacy formula that was created in the best labs at MIT, Emmanuel is the worst linebacker of all time. You sure you want to listen to this guy about greatness? Now, here's the thing. I wasn't the best linebacker of all time, but the worst is a far, far stretch, KD. I said my legacy formula. I said championships divided by number of teams played for equals your legacy meter. Rather than having to debate with everybody and they mom and them about legacy this and legacy that, I deduced a very simple formula for you all. How many championships did you win? How many teams did you play for? And the higher the number, the higher the final score, the greater the legacy. You see Kevin Durant there at the bottom. You see Kobe Bryant up there at the top. But again, that's a small list. I didn't include the likes of Dirk Nowitzki. I didn't include the likes, rather, of Michael Jordan, amongst other people. Like any rule.
Because you didn't, because you knew the reason why you didn't involve them is because you know that it would be dumb. The more people that you involve, the worse it would be. So you nitpick the players that you would involve. It would probably be better if you involve like Magic and Bird, right? Because then that would be easy. Or maybe Kareem, because that would be easier, right? Like that's the reason. Or Bill Russell, right? So that's the reason why. But you didn't involve the people that you know would have immediately shown the flaws in your formula. Yeah, you didn't want to show that.
There are exceptions. Don't have time for the exceptions. But James,
Yeah.
what I have time for is this.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody in the family is under attack, you got kids,
Yeah.
you got kids,
Yep.
you got kids. You would hope the family, bang, would
1,000.
rally around you, bang,
1,000.
and support you. So, James, I know the answer,
Yeah.
but I just want to confirm in front of the general public, the national audience,
100%.
whose side are you on? Your boys
Yeah.
or the person you don't know?
This is the corniest shit. This is the corniest shit. They are basically about to confirm that they live in an echo chamber. Oh my word, this is the corniest shit I have ever heard. I just jokingly talking about yes men. They are dead. He's dead ass begging, please be my yes man on this. Please. Please. Oh my word.
And Kevin Durant. I just wanted to confirm publicly
yeah.
for the whole world to
No
see.
doubt. And I don't know KD like that. I just
know.
watch KD.
And you know your boy.
And I know how special your
My
boy
dog,
is.
my dog,
So-
my dog.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to watch this, chat. Hey, chat, I'm not going to be able to watch this one. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm not going to be able to watch this. We're going to have to turn this shit off. Oh, no. I am not going to be able to watch this. No way.
Yesterday, I'm like, hey, man, they at each other.
Uh-huh.
And you, my dog.
Here.
100,
I'm
100.
out all day.
But I got to ride with KD.
This is the cringiest shit I have. Nigga talking about time 2 speed. Nigga, I'm about to hit the X button off of this. Oh.
I got to ride with KD on this one, dog. You know, and I get it. I mean, shoot, KD can't put up graphics. I don't know if he got a graphic designer, you know, so he ain't put his graphic up yet. But Kevin Durant, man, is one of the coldest basketball players we've ever seen play this game.
He is.
A top 10 basketball player of all time, in my humble opinion.
One of the
Two-time champion. Two-time Finals MVP.
Two-time Emmy winner?
With KD,
I can't
you know what I'm
believe.
saying?
I can't believe.
You know,
Just when you think you know a guy,
it was hard, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's not that hard.
Now, KD, I might
Like you
not.
waited all of it.
KD, I might not be here tomorrow, KD. So, you know, look out for your boy.
Hey, so, but Slick, bang.
Dang, yes, slick.
Whose side are you on?
Team Macho.
My dog, Slick.
Team Macho. Look.
All right, chat. All right, we're wrapping this one up. Hey, we're wrapping this up. We're wrapping this one up. No, I'm not continuing the video, Lorenz. No, we're not. No.